Tihar Jail is not just a prison, it's a city of forgotten souls, a concrete jungle where destinies are written and erased. They call it South Asia's largest prison complex, a fortress. They say no one escapes from Tihar, but sometimes the real prison is in the mind, and sometimes a man can just vanish. This is the story of Ramesh Singh, a name nobody knew until he disappeared from a place nobody leaves. The prisoners are ghosts walking in circles. The guards are just zookeepers for a different kind of animal. Ramesh was a quiet man, serving time for a crime he said he didn't commit. He kept to himself, reading old books. He was like a shadow, present but unnoticed. His stillness made him invisible. Until June 12, 2025, the day he reminded everyone that even the strongest cages have holes, and sometimes a man just walks right through them. June 12th. The night was thick and hot. The air was still. The usual sounds of the prison echoed, a cough from a dark cell, the distant clang of a metal gate, tired footsteps of a guard. At the 9 p.m. head count, Ramesh Singh, number 786, stood in line, face blank as always. He ate his dinner, then walked back to his cell. That was the last time anyone saw him. The night passed, silent and ordinary. But in this nothingness, the impossible happened. A man was being erased from existence. Morning came. The 6 a.m. alarm blared. At head count, number 786 was missing. The lock was still on the door. The cell was empty. It was as if Ramesh Singh had turned into smoke and drifted away through the keyhole. The investigation started immediately. The top officers from Delhi police arrived. They were confident. They thought it was a simple case of a clever prisoner and a lazy guard. They demanded the CCTV footage. Every camera in Tihar is a god. It sees everything. It remembers everything. The officers sat down in the control room, ready to watch the trick unfold. They started with the camera pointing directly at the corridor outside Ramesh's cell. They were sure the answer would be there, recorded in black and white for them to see. They spooled the footage to the moment after the 9 p.m. head count. They watched the guard lock the cell. They saw the guard walk away. The corridor was empty. They fast-forwarded. Hour after hour, nothing but shadows and dust. Then, at exactly 3:33 a.m., it happened. The screen flickered. A strange static, like 1,000 angry ants, filled the monitor for exactly 3 seconds. When the picture returned, it was the same empty corridor. But everyone in the room felt a chill. Something was wrong. This was not a normal technical glitch. They checked the footage from other cameras in cell block C. The same thing. At precisely 3:33 a.m., every single camera in that block went to static for 3 seconds, all at the same time. The cameras in other parts of the prison worked perfectly. It was a localized event, a digital blackout confined to one small area. The technicians were called in. They checked the wiring, the servers, the power supply. Everything was perfect. There was no explanation. It was a ghost in the machine. A ghost that came at 3:33 a.m. and left with a prisoner. The police were baffled. They were men of logic, men of evidence. But what evidence is there for a ghost? They watched the footage again and again. Before the static, the cell was occupied. After the static, it was empty. In those 3 seconds of digital blindness, Ramesh Singh had performed his magic trick. He had stepped out of reality. The CCTV tapes, meant to be their greatest tool, had become their biggest nightmare. They showed everything and nothing. They proved that a man was gone, but offered no clue as to how. The official report was a joke, full of big words like unexplained anomaly and security lapse. But in the dark corners of Tihar, the whispers started. They said Ramesh was not a normal man, a sadhu who could control his body, become as small as an ant or turn into air. He simply left his body behind, like a snake shedding its skin. Guards saw shadows moving, heard chanting from his empty cell. They stopped calling it an escape. They called it a reckoning. Now Ramesh Singh is a story told to new inmates. Who was he? A holy man, a demon, or just a question without an answer? He walked off the board and disappeared into the sky. Tihar is left haunted by the man who was never there.